These were the scenes in Spain as Mikel Merino's late goal would see the Spanish side advance to the next round. Portugal are out. Welcome into the ESPN FC studio. Shaka, Craig and Frank to reflect on what we saw in the round of 16. And this was a tight game, arguably Spain with a better side. Over the 90 minutes, we saw both teams creating chances, but in the end, it is Merino's goal that is the difference between the two sides. Spain advance, Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo go home. We'll talk about Ronaldo and the way Leboeuf Martinez used him in this game a little later on, but let's focus on the winners first, Craig. Spain with a better side, over 90 minutes.
Obviously no scenes from Lisbon.
No, there'll be a lot of tears, I imagine.
A lot of questions, we'll get to that. Yeah, Spain the better side. Good substitutions in the end from De La Fuentes. Rodri dominating the middle of the park. Portugal had their moments, particularly in the first half. Second half, Spain really wore them down. The two substitutes combined, Ferran Torres and Mikel Merino. Merino scores big goals for Arsenal, big goals for Spain. He's a big-time player in terms of coming off the bench, either with his head or with that left foot, but it was a brilliant ball from Ferran Torres.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They took a quick free kick and caught Belgium on the hop, and then that little reverse ball round the corner, and then all he has to do, it's a big moment because the game's looking like it's going to go to extra time, and it was a wonderful finish to give the best team in the day the pathway to the quarter-final.
The team with the most quality in the end, Sean.
Yeah, without question. Though at times you were kind of begging for that quality to come to the fore. Lamine Yamal and Nuno Mendes on that, well, right for Spain, left for Portugal. That was an interesting battle between those two because you know how important Lamine Yamal is. But similarly, Nuno Mendes, an incredible performance. Outside of that, you were just waiting for the big players. You're waiting for some kind of a knockout punch from either of these two. It did come very late on in what was a game that won't go down as a classic.
But this is what Spain have. Those players that you can bring off the bench as well, that can just change the game with one single pass.
Yeah, exactly. When you have a top-level players, and suddenly they can create something that nobody was expecting, and it's what happened with Ferran Torres again, and with Craig. The assist is a pure talent assist, and of course Merino has been absolutely fantastic with Arsenal, scoring goals when they needed it, and today Spain needed him, and he produced. That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. It wasn't even a game, but you have a little bit more, something special coming from the Spaniard team, and I think they deserve to go through.
I know they're growing into this tournament, and I know you've been a bit critical of them.
Yeah, no, but I think now they are definitely up there as one of the heavyweights because of, we mentioned, that quality.
It's a bit of a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, I think most definitely. Also a statement is Cristiano Ronaldo, who was always going to be at the centre of debate, considering the way that Leboeuf Martinez was going to use him throughout his tournament. We saw late on against Croatia, he didn't come off initially, Ramos came on, but he did come off in the end, and it was Ramos who scored that crucial goal. Ramos didn't play in these 90 minutes. Leboeuf Martinez made 5 substitutions, none of them took Cristiano Ronaldo off.
If you're Gonzalo Ramos, has just made a move from PSG to Milan, he's just scored the winner in the round of 32 against Croatia, such an important goal. And you don't even come on the field in a game that's tight, because he thinks he's saving you for extra time, where he gets that added substitute. But you don't get to extra time, because when Merino scores, then the game is dead and buried pretty much, and he doesn't have that substitutions. And in the biggest of moments, and we talked about this for months, about the manager of Portugal. Yeah, he took him off in that Croatia game. But this was the biggest of moments against one of the favourites for the tournament, and he's left a player on who did basically little in the game. There was no... Kubasi and Aymeric Laporte, there was no threat. There was no threat from Ronaldo. The threat was going to be maybe the pace of Leao in the wider area, maybe the pace of Neto on the right-hand side. There was no threat of the pace from Cristiano Ronaldo getting in behind. But we knew that. So it needed something different. And they'll nail him to a mast back in Portugal about this. They got to. Because it's not about Ronaldo. It's not about him playing the last World Cup. It's not about all that. It's about Portugal and the national team and this multi-talented squad of players they've got. And he made a decision, Leboeuf Martinez, for the individual, not for the betterment of the team. And they've paid the penalty.
That's what I regret about it. It's not a Ronaldo testimonial. That wasn't a game to please him. That was a game to go through. It was like today seeing Neymar coming on. That's like a kind of a tribute. No, that's a national team game, and you want to go through. So it's a regret. Ronaldo had some chances with the half bicycle in the first half, but it wasn't productive enough in the second half, and it would have been, I think, only fair to maybe try something with Gonzalo Ramos to bring something different. And Roberto Martinez didn't take that opportunity, and he will have to pay the price.
At the same time, though, Ronaldo was not the only underperformer in this Portugal team. We came into this World Cup saying that Portugal arguably had the best midfield of any team in the tournament. Yet you'd not seen anything from that incredibly talented midfield. While I agree, Ronaldo could have been sacrificed, in want of a better word, a whole lot sooner, a whole lot more often during the course of this tournament. You being unable to get a tune out of that midfield three, again, that is as damning a criticism on Roberto Martinez as his unwillingness to make big changes. And I'm looking at Ronaldo here.
Yeah, but I mean, we talked about this the other day, Shaq. You're looking at Vitinha, João Neves, and Bruno Fernandes, right? And I talked about this, I think, last week and previous weeks. When they're playing at their club, respectively, Man United and PSG, they have players up front in the front three, particularly through the middle, that they can just bend balls in first time, right? Without looking. We see Bruno Fernandes doing it at Man United. That ball comes into him and he whips it around the corner for Mbemo or Sesko. They don't have that.
Yeah.
You know, they've got at PSG, they've got Dembele, they've got Dewey, they've got Kvaratskhelia, they've got Barcola. They can play those balls in. They're almost taking extra touches because Ronaldo's coming short all the time. He can't go in behind, so it completely negates that threat. And Frank will tell you, as a centre-half, if you're not worried about the pace, you can squeeze the game a little bit more.
Exactly, you can play higher because you know that you won't have any problem seeing a ball in behind you, and you won't have to regulate your defensive line as a sweeper that I was to say, okay, we drop a little bit because the guy is running back and he's running behind us, and it's going to be hard for us to deal with that. But if the guy doesn't do it at front, you can go up, squeeze, and you create problems in the middle of the park because you're going to push your middle line to go and pressurize, for example, Vitinha and Neves. So that was an issue. That's true. That's really critical about that. And you couldn't put Ronaldo if you have somebody who does the job, who does on the left side, like Leao maybe or somebody else, who go behind the defense in the space. But neither Felix or Leao or somebody else have done that.
Why didn't he change it?
That's been the question and more to the point, the concern about Roberto Martinez.
I haven't seen the press conference. I imagine say Martinez, he's one of the greatest players. If you need someone to make a difference, he has still got it within him to make that difference. That's why I can't take him off.
I'm not sure the latter is true.
I was being Roberto Martinez.
Well, I agree what you say, and absolutely. Listen, at his peak, the game has not known a better goal scorer than Cristiano Ronaldo. So you understand that. I don't know if he still has it in him.
Martinez clearly thinks he does. So why does he?
But that has always been the concern, that Roberto Martinez is unable to make the big decisions in a way that Fernando Santos did 3.5 years ago. We are now 3.5 years further on, yet we kind of knew coming into this tournament that Roberto Martinez was not going to make that call. He just did not have the nous about him.
Wasn't a difficult call.
Shouldn't have
6 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 days ago, that Portugal are unlikely to win the World Cup with a 41-year-old up front. That's not a controversial statement. Portugal were not going to win the World Cup with a guy in his 40s up front. Roberto Martinez has facilitated this, right? He's allowed it because the qualifiers against the Liechtensteins and the Latvias and the Moldovas and whoever the hell Portugal play, and they rack up 5, 6 and 7 goals against these teams, and they're padding their stats. The big question was going to be, when you get to the World Cup on this stage against the better quality teams, can you in reality be successful with a player in his 40s as good as he has been? And I agree, he has been brilliant. I don't think you'll get anybody arguing that. But it's a young man's game. It's a game of pace. It's a game of getting in behind. It's a game of stretching teams. And he can't do that anymore. Yes, he'll score goals in Saudi Arabia and that nobody really gives a stuff about, and he'll score them in these qualifiers. But that's not what Portugal want.
Yeah, but the problem
they want it on the big stage in the field.
The question is, who's responsible for that? I don't think we should blame Cristiano Ronaldo. He didn't ask for anything. I mean, it doesn't seem that last time when he went out, he was frustrated. But like any striker in the world,
so this is all at Martinez's.
Yeah. Do make your own choices. Decide for that, and the player will have to accept that. And I'm pretty sure that Cristiano Ronaldo will have accepted that. You don't score, you're not influenced enough the game, so you get out. But he didn't do it, and because maybe he was scared of him. But I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo is responsible for that.
When he goes into the press conference, Roberto Martinez, I'm almost sure the Portuguese press have to be saying, "Why did you leave the goal scorer from the Croatia game on the bench, scratching his backside? Yeah. Why did you do that? What's the reason? Why didn't you try and win the game? Were you playing for extra time?" What they'll be asking those questions.
Yeah, but he's going to say, like he always said, I believe that Cristiano Ronaldo will score a goal. Yeah. And it's what he said last time.
So explain to me this. Is it all... Does Martinez take all the blame for playing Ronaldo? Bruno Fernandes was anonymous.
Ronaldo's not...
Yeah? So we're picking on Ronaldo and Martinez.
No, I'm not picking on Ronaldo. I'm picking on Martinez.
But others still have to step up, don't they? Absolutely. I understand what you're saying. They haven't got a target, but still there was nothing from the Premier League Player of the Year. Vitinha, the best player in midfield
maybe that's part.
Maybe because is it all a knock-on effect?
Maybe because there's certain cogs in the wheel that don't make themselves attractive to those players playing better. And I don't know, maybe that's just an excuse. And I'm not blaming Ronaldo. Listen, the desire of that guy to turn out for his country is incredible. I mean, there's a couple of 100 caps. I'm blaming the manager. And I'm blaming the manager for not getting the best out of the other players. They also lost Nuno Mendes to injury, which is, we all well know, is arguably the best left-back in world football at the moment. But this is a huge disappointment for a supremely talented Belgium side. But this is a discussion I almost knew we were going to have. We almost knew we were going to have this discussion about the talent not quite performing and about the manager not making a big decision on Portugal's arguably greatest ever star player. In a major tournament, we knew we were going to have this discussion all during the year.
Going back to what you said about Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes can be good if he has different options and different choices, and he didn't have that. If you have only one choice, is to give the ball to everybody at front in their feet. You have only one choice. It's what it didn't happen this season. It was good. Somebody was asking the ball in his feet, the other one was going in the space. So he give you two options, and when you have the talent of Bruno Fernandes, you pick the best one. That's what makes the difference. And the same, and you were alluding it before, for Neves and for Vitinha, it's the same. When you have Dembele, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia and Doué, you have different choices. And because of your talent, you can pick the best one. That's what makes you different from the others. But if you have only one option, one choice, from the three at front, it's a problem.
Let's be honest. Rafael Leao, he's a waste of time as well, isn't he? He's a waste of time. The talent he's got and the pace he's got to be on the fringes of Milan games, on the fringes of Portugal games, and spending a lot of time actually on the bench with his talent, his pace, and his power. It tells you all you need to know about his mentality.
A moment ago, Craig is talking about this game, and Freudian slip says the supremely talented Belgium side. This is exactly the conversation.
That's what I said.
Yeah. But this is the exact same conversation we are having about Roberto Martinez with a supremely talented Belgium side.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
that's what
and Shaka's the only one who knows. He's the only one who listens to Craig.
But to your question, Dan, while, yes, you could offer that midfield, the excuse with Ronaldo and not having the options to play in some of the ways that they play with their respective club teams, you don't get a tune out of that midfield. The manager has to take some responsibility. Mm-hmm. I fully agree, because as much as, again, we're offering some excuse for this midfield, we're having this exact same conversation a few years ago with Roberto Martinez in Belgium.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Good stuff. Portugal out. Spain, of course, looking to the European Championship and World Cup double. They are through to the quarterfinals.